All right, guys. Just want to take a quick minute. We did a lot of pretty heavy duty videos here in the last couple of sessions. I gave it about a week if you notice, before I did a video, because I wanted you guys to get a chance to really explore what I was talking about and hopefully getting a good chance to get a grasp of what I was saying. So, we are just about now at the point where I think it's time that we can move a little bit past the dreams. Dreams are always going to be an important part of this channel. It's probably my main practice. It's the way that I contact the other side. It's the way that I connect with other beings, which give me information to where I can share it with you guys. So I'm really kind of rambling right now because I want to give it a couple of minutes to see if we get some people that show up for the stream. I do my live streams as a question and answer format, so basically feel free to ask questions. Remember, I know this is such a cliche, the only stupid question is the question not asked. I have to do that. I have to. Also, I got my video quality set low, so I have a higher latency or lower latency, which gives me more real-time access to you guys. And let me see, where did I get my drink? Again, we'll give it a few more minutes. We have 3 people that have showed up. And again, what I really want to focus on, guys, is if you have any questions on the last 3 videos. I think the one that you're probably going to have the most questions on is how to make contact with higher entities. I hate using the term higher. They're not higher, they just remember more. But that one's really important because I started to lay the groundwork for how to do manifesting. So we're going to take a quick break here for 2 or 3 seconds, give you all a chance to type something in if you got any questions, and then we'll get started. And keep in mind, I do these live chats, and I'm not expecting to get a million views on them. This channel, and especially the live chat, is more designed for, okay, let's say if you're going along the path and you're not doing a school, in other words, an established system, such as the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, a church, if you're not involved in a group, and let's say you're walking the path by yourself, there's periods of walking that path where you are going to think that you are literally going crazy. Because what it is that you're realizing and the things that you are seeing are so contrary to the paradigm that you'd been taught that your ego fights back, your mind fights back. It wants you to become part of the herd. It wants you to stay in the safety of the herd. So what it'll do is it'll say, okay, that's insane. You've got to be crazy to believe that. You didn't see that as it actually was. I want you to deny your senses and listen to me and listen to what I'm having to say. Even though that paradigm is incorrect, that it's really an illusion that you're believing in. So I put out the lessons and I do the video streams mainly because somebody at some time that's on the path, that really wants to cross the veil, that really wants to move to the other side of the veil. What he's going to do is he's going to something's going to lead him to this video or a video that I've done. And he's going to listen to it. And he's going to say, wait a minute, this isn't what they say, in New Age. I've read all the New Age books. And none of them say this. All of them say angels are great. They sing, they're loving, they give out lots of hugs, which isn't the truth of the matter. These are people that have read things. A lot of what you're going to discover when you're searching is that you're going to see things that you read, not that you experienced. There's actually very few people that have experienced these things that come forward and talk about it. They may put out a book, they may talk to a few people, but generally speaking, they keep it to themselves. And the reason they keep it to themselves is because they know that most people are not going to believe them. These videos and this channel, I want to give a resource for, where it's not stuff that I've read somewhere else. These are things that I have actually experienced myself. So we got 3 people watching. Is my chat not working? Because I am not seeing any chat in here. Can somebody type something in and see if it's working? Because I'm showing 3 watching, and I have absolutely, or I'm not showing any messages. Because if we have a screw up again, sometimes my chat doesn't work for whatever reason. Let me try putting a test in. Because usually I got somebody saying hello by now. Okay, yep, it's working. Ah, hey, Christopher. So Christopher says, what you're saying about getting lost back in Sheepaland is my struggle. Am I right? Are you not having your ego or your mind telling you, this is insane, this is crazy? Hey, Vinny, how you doing? But am I not right? Remember, we've got a little bit of a lag here, so when I ask a question, a lot of times it takes a few seconds for them to answer. But while we're waiting for Collins to answer, by the way, I took off spam, so you guys can do larger comments now. So feel free to, usually if you have spam on, you're only allowed to do a question, you know, like a sentence or two. You can do longer ones now without getting spammed out. But yeah, no, that's normal, guys. As a matter of fact, the further that you go along the path, the more intense that feeling of going crazy is going to feel. The more intense it is. Moving away from the herd. And I'm going to give you hope here, okay? I'll give you hope. When you get to the other side of the veil, it all goes away. I don't know why, but it all goes away. Colin says, I had a deep insight and came back to live in normal land, but am I in a rut here? No, that's normal, guys. When you're doing the path, all right, here, let me give you the phases, generally speaking, of an insight or an epiphany, okay? I like to call it more of an epiphany. Insights are a little bit different. Insights are just like little tremors. And the epiphany is that earthquake that changes your view, okay? Insights will give you a little bit of power, but it's really more directional to get you to that life-changing, that earthquake. Remember, nothing in this world changes without an upheaval. And the epiphany is the upheaval that gives you power. It gives you enough power to be able to take on the next step. And it even gives you power in the world around you. Here's the funny thing, though. The more powerful you get, or the more power you have, the less that you want to use it. It's really amazing. And the more that you see, no matter how much power you have, there are still things that you just cannot change. So why even do it at all? In fact, you'll come to the conclusion, really the only valid thing that I can do with my life is to do the great work. But again, Colin, I just want to again let you know, it's worth it, it's normal, it happens to everybody, okay, that follows the path. Unless, of course, you've got a support group. And then a lot of times what ends up having is you have an occult, you end up in a cult. But if you're doing it on your own, your ego is going to fight back. The ego, I'm going to do a video on this really, really soon, okay? It's called Personality Aspects, how we create our ego, how we create those aspects within our personality, okay? And how we have, how it pulls our energy, it pulls our awareness into that particular aspect. The ego is created to protect you, okay? The main purpose of that ego is to make sure that you stay in the herd, that you are taken care of. Okay? As a herd animal, what's our instinct? Our instinct is to be part of the herd. That is where the protection is. That is where the greatest chance of survival is. Why do you think that your mind and your ego has such power to shame you? If you do something that's, even though it's not wrong, okay? But let's say is socially unacceptable. And within, remember, socially unacceptable is within your sphere because that's your tribe. We're all broke down into smaller tribes. So your friends and relatives around you, that's your tribe. When you do something that's socially unacceptable to them, your ego is going to shame you. It's going to want to put you in line. It's going to want to make sure that you stay in that herd. So unfortunately, it's your friends and your relatives which are your biggest impediment towards moving forward in the path. Okay, so I wanted to finish that comment though. You went back to normal then. The stages of an epiphany. Again, we have an insight. Insights lead us through contemplative meditation. You get one insight, and then through contemplative meditation you say, wait a minute, if this insight is true, then this must be true. Now you have another insight. Wait a minute, if this is true, then this must be true. Now you have another insight. It's the footsteps that lead you towards an epiphany. Now, in my experience, before I have an epiphany, I'll go through a period of time where when I'm asleep at night and even during the day, I'm extremely frustrated. I'll have frustrating dreams, like I'm trying to organize something, but I can't figure out exactly what the organization is of it, where to put all of the pieces. It's a very irritating, very irritating. It's a frustrating dream. I usually don't sleep well. I'll get up maybe after 5 hours of sleep and can't go back to bed and can't get back to sleep because my mind is going around in circles about something I have no idea what it is. But I do know that I'm trying to put the pieces together. Then I'll have a dream where it'll be an aha moment where I'll say, okay, wait, this is how to do it. And then the frustrating dreams will tend to stop. Okay, so in other words, I must have all of the pieces in place enough to make that next step, that next epiphany, that next growth, that next surge of power. Then what will generally happen is I'll have an encounter dream. And the encounter dream will usually say one or two sentences. Generally, it's one sentence, like the last one I had. They keep keeping you from remembering. That's all he said, and he sent a knowing with it. That's it. Then generally what I'll have is a lot of message dreams right after that. And usually maybe an encounter dream here or there, just minor encounter ones. The other night I had one where I had a hand computer in my hand, and an entity walked up to me and said, "You don't need that anymore." And I remembered laughing at him and saying, well, without it I'd lose half my brain. You guys get that one? Calculating aspect of the mind. Calculator. Computer. So I'll get little ones. I know the direction that this epiphany is supposed to take. I just haven't got there yet. Now, after getting message dreams, if you look in your life, and in the dreams, you're going to have an aha moment in that dream where you feel that you're back in control. Okay? Then you look in your life, and you'll have an epiphany. It'll usually be a big one. All of the pieces, all of the dreams that you've been having, all of the encounters that you were having, that frustration that you were having, the things that were frustrating you in your life will all fall together and you'll say, oh, that's the answer. Why didn't I see this? It was in front of my face all of this time. Remember, at the very beginning of this series, I told you, the answers are right in front of your face. You just can't see them. They're right there. It'll be like the blinds have moved aside and you can see what it is that they were trying to say, and you'll say, oh man, that was just so obvious. That generally tends to be the stages of an epiphany. It doesn't always work that way. You might end up having an epiphany through insights. But the major ones I've found, the ones that we really need help with because our paradigm is just so strong, our belief structure is just so strong, that there'll usually be an intervention with dream entities. I do want to ask, I'm going to get to Colin's other question or other statement here. He's got two more. Any questions on meeting dream entities? It's really important. I started the framework or the basis for using intent to manifest what you want. So understanding how to connect with your guardian angel. And again, guardian angels are easy. If you want to call them guardian, I call them managers. Okay, they're not really guardian angels. They more manage your destiny, manage your life. But those are really, really important to learn. Hey, Christopher says, I feel like I may have attracted some dark by burning so bright. Don't worry about it. Yes, no, that dark has always been there. What you're doing is you can see it now. Okay, a lot of times I've noticed, and I've even read this on channels and pages, etc., everybody's worried about a demon coming to them. And It's kind of a valid point, because what happens is the more enlightened you get, the more illusions that you move aside. Remember, I said you see things that are already there. So that darkness has already been there. It's already been a part of you. You can just see it now, which means that you can, remember, you can't change something until you see it. So you need to see it first. And I'll bet you if you look at it, you'll say, okay, yeah, there has been some darkness in me. There has been I hate to use the word a demon, okay, because everybody's so concerned about a demon taking them over. What if I was to tell you that, in a sense, a lot of those aspects are already in you? You just can't see them. And that's the purpose of the path. If you guys read anything on internal alchemy, what it is the transformation of the negative to the positive. Not really transformation, but we'll go ahead and go with that, since that's what everybody says, and it'll be the easiest for you all to understand. It's really actually an elimination of the negative and a growth of the positive. But let's go ahead, transformation, if you want to call it that. Transforming lead into gold, okay? That's what it is. Which means that it has to already be in you to be transformed in the first place, correct? So that's totally normal. Don't stress about it. Nobody's going to come and take over your body because it's already taken over. If you want to know the truth, your ego has taken over your awareness or your mind. So, I mean, why worry about something that's already there? The struggle on the path is to regain your mind, to have self-mastery, to not be blown from fear to anger to all of the negative emotions, including the positive ones. If you're going to be centered, you can't allow yourself to just be blown into any emotion. You choose. At this moment, I want to be loving. At this moment, it's appropriate to be angry, so I'll move into anger. That's self-mastery. For most normal man, for the average person, and the novel, and the newbie to the path, they have no choice about what emotion that they experience. Do you see? Is this making more sense? I hope. Colin says, I need to get some protection to go back deep into the occult. Why? You already have it. Don't you have a guardian angel? I don't know why. What you're doing is your ego, your mind, is trying to give you a reason not to do it. And it will do that. It will try to convince you that you should not do this because it's going to be harmful to you. What it's really saying is, you should not do this because it's going to be harmful to me, meaning the mind, not you, not the spirit. And it is going to be harmful to the ego and the mind. The purpose of the path is to take control back from the ego and the mind, to become like you were as a child before your ego asserted itself. But you'll have a lifetime of experience and wisdom to draw from. Is that making more sense? Christopher again says, I'm trying to kickstart my journey back into the occult after surfacing in normal land and falling into, okay. Especially in the, Taoism talks about this too. Taoism talks about the cauldrons, okay? There's 3 separate ones, but we're going to cover the Hermetic terminology on this. Remember, if you study Hermetic alchemy at all, okay, just read up on it. You don't have to go through the whole jade tablets and all that. Just look on the practice of alchemy itself. It will talk about the purifying the lead into gold. Part of that purifying process is heating it up and then returning back to the normal world. Okay, when you do an entrance into the occult and you do an entrance into the mysteries, or you step into that, you're going to gain knowledge and you're going to gain wisdom. The trick is to solidify that within your being. Now, there's a reason why you're born into this world, into the physical. It can't be done in the spiritual. There's no such thing as what we call time. There's no time. In the physical, we have time to be able to make changes and adjustments within ourselves. So now you have these epiphanies, and now you have these knowledges and learnings, okay? You bring that into the normal world with you, and then you begin to incorporate that into your being to where you're now practicing it on a daily basis. Now, it's good to feel that you're in a rut. This is good, okay? It's an indicator that the last time that you made that journey, that you got that epiphany, you've incorporated it. You're living it. You know, like me, when I talk about the mind, I always think multidimensional. That's because I've had that epiphany. And until it becomes first nature, not second nature, but first nature, that's the immediate way that you respond to experiences in this world, that you respond with that epiphany that you gained. That is when you start to feel in a rut. That's when you start to feel, okay, I need to move forward and I just can't move forward. Actually, yes, you will. Once you have solidified in that position long enough, automatically you'll begin to take the next step. I'm hoping that makes more sense. By the way, Christopher, I'm going to tell you the truth. You're saying that you're trying to kickstart your journey again. Dude, you are. You joined my channel. I mean, already, the universe, your higher self, guardian angels, whatever you want to call it, okay? I call it your destiny. Your teachers, whatever. They've turned you onto this channel, and I'm probably talking about things that have been insightful for you. Some of you all may not believe what I have to say because you're not ready. When you're ready, you're going to look back at a lot of the things that I say, and you're going to go, oh, you know what, he was right. So I'm probably saying enough things to where you have, through your own personal experience, know that I am correct. So if I'm correct about these things, then odds are good I'm correct about the insights that you've been gaining, which is going to help you to, of course, what? Move into an epiphany. Christopher says, it seems like having knowledge of and conversation with HGA, it's so intense. Brilliman, the mage, had a huge process. Crowley did it somewhat loosely, but he's Crowley. It seems hard for... No. Okay. You know, here's what's funny. It's kind of weird. Last 2 nights that I've been sleeping, as I wake up, I've been asked a question. It's really weird, by an entity. You know, it's come up and asked me a question. 2 nights ago, I was asked, is it really hard to do? And it was referring to the path. And I remember looking at destiny this way. You know, remember I've talked about the matrix, the web, whatever you want to call it. And I looked through that, and I said, you know, this was the easy way. And then I took a look at the hard way. And what I saw was, and this is what I told her, it's only as hard as you want to make it. It's actually quite easy. But we ourselves make it hard. Is this making more sense? It's not complicated, and it's not hard to do. It's just difficult to do. Okay, here, let me give you point number 1. Remember I talked about the 4 points of the path, okay? Let's talk about point number 1 real quick, because I'm going to tell you the difference between understanding and knowing, okay? Knowledge and understanding, there's a difference. Point number 1 is attachment to the physical, which means part of it is knowing that you are not your body. It's also being able to release things in your life. When you have them, you enjoy them. But when you lose them, which you will, because nothing is permanent in this world, you are going to lose things that you gain in this life. Whether you give them away voluntarily, or they're taken away, or they get destroyed for whatever reason or another. That beautiful car that you just got, that you spent years getting, you get in a wreck, boom, and forgot to pay insurance that month. It's gone. Okay? That's part of it, is to being able to allow them to come to you. That's important. We deny ourselves more things than you possibly know. And that's something that you'll learn as you move along the path. How you have denied yourself things that you've needed. And to be able to let them go without regret afterwards. So when we lose something normally, we're like, oh my God, I lost it. Oh why? God, you must hate me. Self-mastery, staying centered. And I'm getting to my point here really quick. The other one is to know that you're not your body. Now, all New Agers will go, yes, I know, I'm not my body. I am a being of light. Magicians will say that. No, I know I'm not my body. I am a spark of God. Everybody's going to have their own terminology. And they're going to say, I know this. No, they understand it. When you know it, you now live it. You've had an epiphany about it. And you're going to say, I have been living it because I am a being of light. Yeah, I'm sorry if you're a New Ager or an occultist or Golden Dawn, or if I'm teasing you, but it is kind of funny. No, okay. You understand it because you have read it and you've calculated it and you said this person has said this and this person has said that. So everybody's in agreement that it's this. So I'm going to be in agreement too. No. I'm going to give you this one about the body as a for instance on gaining the first point. The first point again being I am not my body. The second point, or attachment to the physical. The second point is attachment to excitements and pleasure, emotional, sexual pleasures, etc. Those are the 2 points that you need to master to cross the veil. After you cross the veil, then you can master the other 2 points, the third point and the fourth point, to move beyond, into chaos, if you want to call it, and become a god yourself, if you want to put it that way. But to move into chaos, and move out of the physical realms themselves, which even the realm of light is considered, or heaven, some people call it that, is considered part of the physical realm. Just a lighter, version of it. So, I had an epiphany where I had a dream, and this was the first lesson that she taught me. And I was introduced to my dream teacher, and those that have been following my videos, I talked about that in a dream that I had. So I'm not going to go through it again because I don't want to bore everybody all over again. But afterwards, the first dream that I had with her was where she had me up in shackles and my arms up, right? And she had a whip in her hand. I remember this clear as day. She took that whip and she struck it at me. And I remember the whip came down along my body and it opened up my gut. It was bloody. It was gory. And I was like, oh my God, I'm scarred for life. Look at what it's doing to my body. And she said to me, do you get it? And I was like, yeah, I got it. Yeah, like anybody would say that's being tortured. And again, you guys would probably say, she's got to be a demon. Let me finish my story. Remember, one man's avenging angel is another man's destroying demon. So this obviously demon, because it can't be an angel or it can't be something good, because it would be loving. It would take me and it would sit me down and it would explain what life is in a classroom situation, to where my intellectual aspect would go, I understand, thank you. I'm enlightened because I understand, and an angel told me. No, she knew that growth only occurs through epiphanies. So she took her whip, because she knew I was lying. I didn't get it. And she hits me again. And of course I'm thinking, oh my God, now I'm even more scarred. Oh, my body. And I remembered I tried to wake up at that point. In fact, I got into my body briefly. I was in my body. I just couldn't open my eyes. I could sense, things around me in the physical, but I was still in that paralysis state. But I could also still feel a pull. You guys all must have felt it. When you're kind of waking up and you feel a pull back into that dream, where you have no choice. If you fall asleep, you're going to go right back into it. Or if you let go. Well, she outlasted me. I lost my focus. I let go, and I was back in the dream. And I remember she took the whip and she hit me again. Oh, and she did ask again, before she hit me, do you get it? Remember, they only like to speak in sentences. I don't know why. The fewer the words they like it, the better. And she hit me again with the whip. And that's when I got it. I said, wait a minute. I just woke up in a body. But yet I'm being tortured here, and I'm not feeling any physical pain. Wait a minute. I am not my body. I'm really not my body. That was my epiphany. I remember she smiled at me, and I woke up. Again. Was she a demon, or was she an angel? If I didn't have that epiphany, I would have to say, oh my God, that was a demon, obviously. But it would be my fault because I didn't get the lesson at that time. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to get the lesson. So It was probably after I had that epiphany, it was about a week or two later, I had another dream. I dreamt where I was actually speaking with my body. And I remember my body said, "You are the rider." And I had a vision of, yeah, me riding a horse. And I remember saying, and it said something along the lines of, you'll ride me until I'm too old. And I got visions of the body getting too old and then dying. And then I remember I said to my body, I go, well, wait, why don't I just switch bodies before that? Well, that scared my body, of course, because it doesn't like the idea of your soul leaving, which means that it's dead. And I woke up. I could feel it. It just completely withdrew. And I woke up. But that was a confirmation dream where I saw, because I actually had a conversation with my body, that my awareness, my consciousness is not reliant upon your body, which means that I am not my body. So now, how does this epiphany relate to my life? Allergies, hang on. Okay. Almost had a sneeze go there. Yes, there's an evil force keeping me from explaining this. Don't mind me, I'm kind of getting back to normal. I'm getting mostly through this last dream stage, so my energy's starting to come back. I'm getting a good amount of sleep. All right, so how did this epiphany, how does this show the difference between knowing and understanding? All right, so now, let's say I'm in a crowded room, and a fart slips out. Okay, I don't condemn my body, for farting. I don't go, oh my God, how could you do that? Stop that. Don't ever do that again, body. I don't do that. I was like, okay, it's an accident. My body couldn't help it. I refer to it now as my body. And I don't blame it like what I used to because I'm not identifying with it. My body farted. I didn't fart. Is this kind of making sense to you? When I now view myself as something separate from the body, which is different than understanding that I'm separate from the body. Could you all type in, am I making sense on this? I'll give you all a second to reply. I'm pausing for questions. I'm going to give it about 15 more seconds. Colin says, the HGA is always there. Okay, what do you mean by HGA, real quick? I want to make sure that we got the same terminology. Or you're referring to like your higher self, right? Higher guardian angel? Is that what you mean by HGA? Okay, yeah, same thing. No, all right. I'm going to tell you right now. You have a connection. You already do. What you're wanting, which your guardian angel doesn't really particularly want, is for you to be friends with it. It's not its job. Okay? What you're saying is you want to be friends. What makes you think that your guardian angel didn't point you to this channel right now? And that's not to say that you're going to agree with everything that I say. But what makes you think that it didn't do that? Guardian angels do not sit down. It's an illusion. It's a fantasy that especially the New Age has put out. that your guardian angel sits down with you and says, okay, Collins, you've been such a good boy, and I'm going to tell you about the nature of reality. It all started a long time ago with a big bang. Can you envision this big bang? You see what I mean? They don't do that. They know that the only way that you're going to get out of here, that you're going to be able to do the great work, is through experiences. And I've told you guys over and over again, the way to get out of your destiny is to truly want to walk the path, to truly want to cross the veil. The minute you do that, heaven and earth is going to move. It will move to help you reach that point. You are getting what you need, not what you want. Your wants are getting in the way. And I'm going to be doing a video when we start talking about manifesting on wants, what they actually are. You believe it's supposed to be a certain way, and now you want the world to conform. Again, I'm not knocking you down, because everybody, adepts even, until you become a magician, until you cross the veil and move to the other side, to where you no longer have doubt if you're going crazy or not. You are now at peace with yourself and who you are. You want the world to conform, and again, everybody on this planet, this is part of the reason why we're stuck here. Conform to what you believe it should be. That's one of the illusions that clouds your mind, that keeps you from seeing the way things actually are. You want it to be the way you want it, rather than what it really is. Guardian angels really have no need to sit down and talk with you and establish a loving. Again, I'm teasing you, okay? Please don't unsubscribe. But I'm exaggerating, okay? Again, I'm picking on New Agers especially. A loving connection to where you two are relating information back and forth for your spiritual growth. What the hell do you think the guardian angel's been doing? It's been putting experiences in your path to where you have epiphanies. That's its job. Am I making more sense? Again, sorry if I'm if I'm over exaggerating, but I do love that point. I really do. It was one of the hardest for me to actually learn myself, that I was wanting the world to be the way that I thought it should be, or I was told it should be. Remember, most everything on this world that we see and that we believe is an illusion. It's a lie. We were told it. The reality is almost always the opposite of what we think it is. And that's something that you'll learn as you move further along the path, as you gain more understanding of the nature of reality. I didn't go too far, did I, Collins? Oh, come on, man. You got to admit, I was being kind of funny. It was a little humorous. Y'all kind of giggled a little bit. Come on. Steve says, please keep going. Did I answer your question, Steve? Or did I clarify that for you? By the way, just to let you all know, man, you can't get rid of your connection to your guardian angel. Her job, and it's usually a her, by the way. Remember, females tend to be the teachers or the helpers within the realm of darkness, or the realm right outside of the physical. Males tend to be in the realm of light. But yeah, it's her job to make sure you do your destiny. So you can't get rid of the connection until the day you die anyways. She's the one that brought you into this life, that picked your soul, your spirit, to enter this incarnation. And it's her job to make sure that you fulfill your obligations to the end of your life. Now, if it wasn't part of your destiny to follow the path, a lot of people it is their destiny to find the path. But let's say it wasn't your destiny. Deciding to follow the path will change your destiny. Remember, it is one thing if you ask an entity with total sincerity for something, and the desire is honest, sincere desire, they can't say no. They can't. So if you ask with a sincere desire to follow the path, they can't say no. They cannot. They'll change your destiny to where you can follow the path. Christopher Collins, I crossed the veil and people thought I was crazy. I had to act in upside down opposite land to get people to treat me normally. It was beyond bizarre. Okay, if you've crossed the veil, then you should not be. Okay, I'm going to talk about the other side of the veil. I'm not going to do it this one because we're almost out of time. Okay. Um, I will tell you this: crossing to the other side of the veil changes you. Okay, it really does. I'm back though to where what I say and do is the same as it is perceived by others. But now I want back to the upside down. Like, okay, well, then you understand what I'm saying. Where I'm going to tell you the truth, Collins. I think that you may have crossed, but there is a period of time. Okay, it could be one of two things. You got a view of the other side of the veil to give you encouragement to want to make sure that you go there and stay there. They can take you there. The problem is if you are not purified enough, okay? If you are not centered enough, if you don't have enough self-mastery. I hate to use the word purified because it's so religious, and I really like to stay away from religious terminologies. I really, really do. Because there's so many labels that are incorrect to it. I don't want everybody going, God, I don't want that. This is a normal process that every every entity in this realm will go through at one point or another. They will go through it. It's just normal. It's about as awe-inspiring as a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. It's the same thing. But it's possible that you got a view of it to make sure that you stay the course, that you can see the difference. Remember that dream I talked about where I said, I heard in my dream, open your eyes. And I opened it up and I actually opened up my eyes into the realm of light. And it was peaceful. And I felt like, yes, this is home. I'm finally, I'm there. And then I heard, open your eyes again. And I opened them into the physical and I felt agitation, apprehension. That's what this realm is. They give you reminders of where it is that you want to go. So either one of two things. One is they just gave you a view of it to make sure you continue the path to where you cross permanently. If you're not ready, again, if you're not ready, you can't stay there. You can't. It'll dissolve you. It's it's almost like a radiation, and I'll talk about that at some point or another. But you can't survive there, okay? Until you have enough self-mastery to where you can survive there. The other one is that, yeah, you actually did cross, okay? And there's a period of time, remember, I said that there's like a radiation there. You could be going through the stage where the rest of your ego is being burnt off, which would make you feel like you're still on the side until you die, okay? But you now have that, if you've really crossed, when you die, that's where you're going to go. Am I making sense at all? Getting dry mouth. Yeah, sorry. We use these pauses, people, as a chance to go grab a cup of coffee. No, don't worry about it, Collins. You're asking questions. I think what you're actually doing is asking the questions everybody else wants to ask, but are too intimidated to ask. So don't worry about it. You're doing fine. If you didn't ask questions, I would have already closed up the chat about 30 minutes ago. So you're giving people an opportunity to see. Because I do my lectures for my lessons, okay? That's my lectures. I come on this for an hour for fun, just to chat with y'all and to try to clarify things. All right, we've got 11 minutes to go. Anything on that last stream? Anything on my last videos? Like I said, we're still going to do a lot of videos on dreaming. and contemplative meditation. Colin says, yes, I need more purification and centeredness to sustain the time on the other side. Exactly. And what you'll have to do is to be able to stay on the other side long enough for the rest of your ego to burn off. Anybody out there that studied the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn and its interpretation of alchemy will talk about how you dissolve the ego, the Saturn's cube, if you will, how that's turned into gold, okay, and you get the Philosopher's Stone. It's a process of dissolving the ego. You can't do it on this side of the veil. That happens on the other side of the veil. Think of this term, okay? When you cross the veil, doesn't mean that you're enlightened, okay? Think about this. Think about the word enlightened. What it means is you're enlightened. And the only way that you can become enlightened is to what? Receive light. Which means that you can't receive light if you're in a realm of darkness. Correct? So people that cross for the first time especially, that is the point. When they're there, that they become enlightened. That enlightening process is what dissolves the ego. And that takes time. It just, you don't cross and my ego has been dissolved. No, you'll know it. And it takes time. Kind of like a radiation. You know how radiation will slowly but surely, kill off your body? Okay, that radiation from the light, that radiates from the light, okay? That's the best way to put it. Will burn off your ego. And it does take time. And the reason that I know it's your ego that tries to make you believe that you're insane when you're walking the path, that you're crazy, that everybody can't be wrong. How egocentric. I like how it uses its own terminology against you. How egocentric to think that you're different than everybody else and special. Isn't that amazing how your ego uses egocentric against you? Your spirit? That goes away. It doesn't go away immediately, but it goes away over time. These are some of the indicators of it. Open for another question. Hey, Steve, you were saying please keep going. Did I make clear what it was that I was going on about? Is it making sense to you? I do wish YouTube would make the interaction a little faster on this. It's the only thing I hate about this. I just hope I didn't insult everybody sufficiently where they go, man, this guy hates magicians. He hates New Agers. Oh, I love to tease New Agers. I'm sorry, guys. If anybody here is a New Ager, please don't take it personally. I just really like to tease you all. Not to say that I wasted almost 10 years of my life studying it, but I wasted almost 10 years of my life studying it. That's not really a waste. It was a good prep, okay, to get my desire up, to get my intent up. Okay, good. All right, I will give you guys 20 seconds. Steve says, yes, I got the whole story. I'll give you guys 20 seconds. Ask, or 1 minute, ask ye questions or forever hold ye peace, at least until I get my next video out and do my next live stream. Yeah, I think almost everybody starts with New Age. Oh no, that's okay, Steve. Oh, it must have been the story about how I discovered how I was not my body. It was really powerful, dude. It was really powerful. I learned, how powerful the teachers are Again, there's guardian angels, then you have teachers. A lot of the entities on the other side, they're specialists, okay? And her job was to teach me what I needed to know to be able to cross the barrier. And she actually took me across the barrier. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It did the same thing for me, Christopher. Christopher says about New Age, I didn't do much with it, but it launched me in the right direction. Yeah, it does do that. But there's so much that you have to unlearn from them. Because, well, come on. Most New Agers, it's like they'll study a little bit of Buddhism, okay, and they'll hit an insight, and because they have an epiphany and an insight, they now understand the universe, and they'll write a book about it. And then a bunch of other people that might have had a similar epiphany or whatever will now take along all of their assumptions that came along with that one epiphany, which is incorrect. So it's like a bunch of people taking a bunch of pieces and trying to throw it all together, and nobody really has the whole picture, the whole piece. So I like to tease them. Their big thing right now is, guys, go to some of these New Age channels and read comments, okay? You'll be going, okay. It's all about love. Love holds the world together. You'll notice that and again, I'm not giving you a hard time if you're female, but females love love. They love love. They love it. Everything's about love. They truly believe that love conquers all, okay? They really believe it. And you'll notice most New Agers tend to be female. So it's not surprising to see that New Age has such a strong emphasis on how love will get you whatever you want. If you just love it enough, you'll get it. Because this is what they really want to believe. All right, guys. I'm going to call it a show. Feel free. Oh, wait a minute. Colin says, even God doesn't have it figured out until I do, too. All right, guys, I'm going to call it a show. I want to thank everybody for showing up. Tomorrow, I think I'm going to do a video. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it on the beginning of on wants, okay? Because wants are important to understand before you can actually start creating or manifesting. One thing I want to point out to y'all, and this is something to contemplate or to think about, you are creators. Every person on this planet. You are creating your reality right now at this moment, okay? That's all you do, in truth, is create. When you go to work, think about it. Don't you get the greatest satisfaction by coming up with a faster, easier way to do your job? And even better yet is to get appreciation for it, but that's above and beyond, okay? The point of the matter is that we're always looking at ways to make things more efficient, better, faster, make ourselves more comfortable. We're creating all of the time. The problem is want management. Let's call it want management, okay? And I do want to discuss that, want management, because before you can manifest a hangnail, you're going to have to understand want management. The other one that I really want to do, because this helps with self-mastery, is on our emotions and how to master our emotions and how our emotions actually work, because that's going to lead into, it's kind of like a follow-up on stopping your internal dialogue. You know, that branch of knowledge or that branch of skill goes together, okay? Whereas talking about wants is another branch of skills that you have to master. You know, there's several different branches that you need to master. So I'm debating on, either one or the other. Dreaming is a strong branch that needs to be mastered, That's why I spent a lot of time covering it. And I did that one first because it's the easiest for you guys, I think, for almost every person on this planet to relate to. If you just start taking your dreams seriously, don't make them all like a figment of your imagination, because they're not. While you're there, they're not, are they? While you're here, it's not a figment of your imagination. So I'm debating on those two, and I guess tomorrow you'll find out which one I decided on. Guys, thanks for coming.